Hi, my name is Samantha Rose. Would you mind if I interviewed you and asked questions about your role as a PIO?
No, that'd be great. Please go ahead.
How would you describe your role as a public information officer?
So as a PIO, we're the conduit from, one situation to the public. Really, in the end, we have to be effective, meaningful, timely, and we have to be accurate. That's really important. We engage in other outlets such as TV, like right now when we're doing this interview, radio interviews, print news, things like that. So we are a trusted source to be able to give people what they need to know, not just during times of crisis, but also just on the regular day when we're trying to get a message out to the public, things like car seat safety or fire-wise events, things like that. So, like I said, that's really our role is to be that conduit to the public.
Why is the PIO role helpful for an emergency medical service agency?
Well, again, being that conduit, we also have trust with the community. And so there's really an important part of all this to where as we give valid, credible information, people are able to understand that when we are out there speaking, we're letting you know the things that are true. There's a lot of misinformation out there, whether it's on social media or 30-second sound bites, things like that. So it's really important for our EMS agency to have that credibility within the community so that we can always give really good information and people can trust what they're getting.
How would you describe your policy for handling media requests?
Well, generally we have PIOs that are assigned to being able to respond to media questions, post on social media, things like that. It's really important that everything that we tell the community is vetted and that information is valid, which means sometimes you're not going to get it as fast as you might get it on Facebook or Instagram, because we have to make sure that information is really clear and like I said, vetted. So things like PD issues or house fires, all these things, we need to make sure that we have all of our information correct so that so the information you get is valid. So
What types of information and details can you share with the community?
We can share quite a bit, but there are some things that we can't. We can't share, like a name, an address, like family members' names, hospital information. Those are protected things about an individual for many reasons, whether it's an ongoing investigation or whether it's just, simply something like if your loved one was involved in a car accident and we're saying names on TV before you even knew that person was involved, how would that affect that individual? And then also in situations of crime, we're presumed to be innocent until proven guilty. And so that's really important that we protect that kind of information. So we can give a lot of stuff, but there's stuff that we can't, and that just has to be accepted by the media.
What types of information are considered confidential and cannot be shared, and why?
Oh, well, again, it goes to this really involves HIPAA. That's a medical national standard of what you can and cannot share about individuals to protect their identity and protect their medical history. And so again, like names, we can't give names out. We don't give out addresses. We try to reduce the details about injuries, because again, that could be found out pretty quickly if you for instance, say, oh, they were in a car accident and they have 2 broken legs and a broken arm. That's easily found, in many ways. So we really try to make sure that we're careful about personal, confidential information. And then obviously we want to make sure that we always notify family and next of kin and things like that before we go out and just put it to the public. Even if that's not law, I mean it is, but even if it wasn't, that really is important for the family to have that first opportunity to get that information and grieve from there. So,
What recommendations do you have for journalists working with PIOs?
I think it's really important for journalists to realize that we can't give you all the information all at once. There's a process that we have to go through to make sure that we are giving you 100% correct facts that are true, that are vetted, and that are relevant to the situation. And it's really important, I think, for for journalists not to grind the PIO. There's a lot of times that you see on whether it's local or national news where they really want to press the issue. And it's not that we don't know what's going on, but we want to give you the facts. And that's our job, is to give you the true facts that you can rely on. And so you might not get the answer you want right away. And so maybe just take a step back and understand that we're still doing our job, because we want to be the best we can be, and try not to be argumentative in the conversation, because it's unfair to the PIO.
Okay, what is the importance of maintaining a positive image in the community?
Credibility. That's really the biggest takeaway from all that, is if you're giving good information, and you're delivering it in the right way, and you're doing your absolute best to be factual, then you build credibility and trust within the community. Making assumptions, speaking for others, those are things that we should not do. The positive image doesn't just go within that PIO moment where we're delivering a message. It goes long beyond that when we're looking for bond issues, when we're looking at coming into your house and taking care of a patient. We have to have that credibility and trust with the community. So it's incredibly important.
Okay, this is going to be my last question. What types of incidents often attract media attention?
Pretty much everything. If there's some way that it affects the community or an individual, or even if it's a hot topic, it's going to get some kind of media attention. Obviously, we have bigger events that create, maybe bigger than local or even national news, even international sometimes. I mean, we've had fires in our local community here that have been, put out internationally, globally. But I mean, things like shootings, fires, motor vehicle accidents, political events, these things are very important when we're looking at things like bond issues and propositions, things like that. Public leadership failures. When we have someone that lost trust with the community and now is being scrutinized, those things create a lot of attention, which goes back to that previous question about that positive image in the community. If we're not creating that, then we're almost creating a bigger problem for more scrutiny and more media attention. And then financial concerns. We've got, tax issues. We have everybody, nobody's mad at their money. So the community is always concerned about how we spend their money and how it gets, appropriated. So pretty much almost everything we do, even bad things within our department, personally, those things can end up in media attention. So we are constantly under the microscope. So everything can be related to media attention.
Okay, Well, thank you very much for letting me do an interview with you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.